in Google Classroom, and if I call your name, then that means that yes, I have successfully received your second draft, okay? And then we'll talk about what to do if I have not. This is Bible literature. Okay. Second draft turned. Oh, I only have 5 turned in. Okay. Here's the ones that I successfully see. I see Thomas, Kiara, Jenna, Chesney, Carter, Jacob. Emailed me. You. Okay, that's what I thought. Is there anyone else who you turned it in? Yes, yes, come here. Okay. So can we look at your phone? Okay. So what from now till the end of you ever having me, for everybody, this is not just a Camara thing. I'll let you do this time. But after this assignment, it's your responsibility, because she's not the only one. There's been a lot of people. Your responsibility to X out of the browser or whatever you're using after you submit it. Go back into Google Classroom, hit classwork, and make sure it's there. Okay? I want you to double check, because it's I won't go into the whole thing today because we don't have as much time. But so from now on, so Camara, you can copy and paste into a comment, or you can email me the link for that. Okay. That'll be for today only. And then going forward, we're going to just double check and make sure it's there. All right. Now, before we get into like the fun stuff that we're going to do with Hero's Journey, right? Everybody love the Hero's Journey? Yes. Let's talk about how you will be recording yourself speaking this VFW essay, because this is required. It is called the Voice of Freedom. And so that is how they judge your essay, is they listen to you judging it. So you're going to go back into Google Classroom and find the assignment that says audio/video recording a VFW essay. I would love it if you could just send me an audio memo or an audio recording and you attach it here, or Jake is going to email it to me. That would be the easiest. But if you can't figure out how to do that and you don't want to mess with that, then you can video yourself saying it. Your face doesn't even have to be in the video, because I'm just going to end up extracting the audio from the video. Okay. When you do this speech recording, do not say your name. Do not say the name of your school. It must be at least 3 minutes long for the full amount of points. So that if that means you need to add something onto your essay, or if you need to speak kind of slowly, I'm okay with that. Okay. And make it professional. Don't let your little brother scream in your ear while you're doing it. Don't have music playing in the background. And then you will upload it there, and that is due on Tuesday. Are there any specific questions about this assignment? No? Okay, beautiful people. Who is that? Okay. All right, let's chat about Joseph in the Bible, right? Timeline of Joseph. We talked about Joseph's life. Who remembers what I asked you, what I said he was kind of famous? That's not the Bible, Joseph. We'll come back to that. Who remembers what I said Joseph was famous for in the Bible? The coat. I told my husband that not a lot of people knew about that, and they said, what? He said, hadn't they all listened to that Dolly Parton song? So, like she talks about her coat of many colors, and so she felt, you said that, didn't you? Dolly Parton? Okay. What? I know you did. I know Jenna did. I know. Dolly Parton had a coat of many colors, but hers was not Joseph's, okay? But she kind of felt like Joseph. So tell me, Joseph was given this coat by his father, and this made him feel important, but it made his brothers feel sure, yeah. And so how did they feel towards Joseph? They hated him. All right, so they devised this plan, right? They were going to kill him, but then they decided not. Da, da, da. He ends up in a pit. Then he gets sold. And what country does he end up in? Egypt. Yes. Egypt. Wait, Egypt's in Africa. Good job. Yes. No, anybody do we want to look at a map? Let's learn, guys. Guys, let's learn. Yes, it is almost in like the Middle East region, but it's not. It's firmly in Africa because we learn. This is how we learn. So Egypt is right up there, the yellow country, above Sudan and to the east of Libya. Great. Okay. All right. So he ends up in Egypt, and lots of things happen. He becomes super important, and he is in Potiphar's household, and Potiphar is super important as well. And then everybody remember what happens with Potiphar's wife? She tries to seduce him, and he says, "No, ma'am." She took a Well, she didn't blackmail him; she framed him. Yeah, no, a little bit different. Okay, so she said that he was doing inappropriate things. He winds up in jail. Now, in jail, there are two gentlemen with him that are having dreams. And so he says, "Hey, I know how to interpret dreams. One of you, your dreams means that you're going to get released. You're going to go back to your position. You're going to die." Okay? So, other dude dies. I like it, Casey. She's doing good. You're gonna die. Okay, so the "you're gonna die" dude dies. The "you're gonna go back to your place" dude goes back to his place. Okay, he's the cupbearer. Basically, side note: cupbearer is not only the person who is giving our pharaoh his drinks, but he's also probably taking a sip of the drink to make sure that it's not poisoned. So he has a pretty important job, right, Casey? Do you have anybody tasting your drinks to make sure they're not poisoned? I don't doubt it. Like, okay. So the cupbearer goes back into this high position, and he overhears the pharaoh having a dream, or the pharaoh says he has a dream. He doesn't know what it means. And the cupbearer remembers that there is this man, Joseph, who is still in prison, and tells the pharaoh, "Hey, I know somebody who can interpret your dreams." So if we remember, the pharaoh's dream was about the 7 fat cows and the 7 skinny cows. Great. So Joseph says, "Your dream means that we're going to have 7 years of abundance. We're going to have so much to eat, so many crops. It's going to be a lot of rain, da 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 da. But then following, we're going to have 7 years of drought, of famine. Nobody's going to have food. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that during these 7 years of abundance, we are putting back plenty so that during the 7 years of famine, we will have enough." Okay, so this shoots Joseph to the top. And then fast forward, his brothers during the famine years. So the good years passed, famine years have come. His brothers come to, see, I don't have a map. Oh, that's an, So they're right here. Does everybody see like Israel right here? Right there? And this is Egypt. So his brothers are coming down to Egypt to say, hey, to get some food, right? Because this area is in total famine. Now, Joseph recognizes them. They don't recognize him. They go through this kind of back and forth. Joseph kind of tricks them, has them go back and get Benjamin, who is left at home. They reconcile, long story short. Okay. And then this is also why we have the Israelites, God's people in Egypt, to begin the story of Moses and all that goodness. Okay. Whew, long story short, right? Now, what is that thing that we've been talking about? Hero's journey, right? All right. I want to see how much we can remember. Did anybody take notes on that? Yeah. I made you. All right. Grab your notes. You can do this. You can do great things. If you did not, then this is an excellent opportunity to do it. Yes, sir. Get it out.
I remember doing that.
Y'all act like this was 20 years ago and it was literally 48 hours. Yes, Lexi. We're gonna add on to this paper some more notes. But in the meantime, what I want us to do is try to identify the parts of Joseph's story that fit into this. In fact, you need to take notes on this as well because this will be on a test. So, like later, when we do tests, okay. Ordinary. Okay, sorry. Stage 1 is what? Ordinary world. And what does that mean in the context of, let's talk about Joseph's story? The beginning. Ordinary world would be maybe when his dad even gave him that coat. Like he's doing his thing, he's being the favorite, all the things. Make sure. So write that down because you need to know. Joseph, beginning of story. I thought I had notes for you all, but maybe I didn't on this. Okay, what is the next? What is the next stage? Okay, do we need... Thank you. Okay, hold on one second. What do you think that is in the story of Joseph?
When his brothers plot against him.
I think that could be it. I'm also wondering if when he had that dream of we didn't talk about that, but of the wheat bowing down to him, if that could have also be seen as a call to adventure. Now, sometimes when we look at the hero's journey framework, these stories are not going to fit 100%. So, call to adventure, I don't see a clear one. I would honestly leave that blank if I were you. What would be the next one? Refusal of call. I don't see a clear one of that either. I would leave that blank. We could make it work, but why? Why do we need to make it work when it doesn't work? Now, what about the fourth one though? Number 4. Stage 4 is who? I don't even know. Do we see another person who guides Joseph in this story? I mean, Jesus is always the answer, right? I would say the only solid answer for this would probably be God. And this is, hey, what are we chatting about? We just singing? Are we singing?
Sophia, stop singing back there.
I think Sophia's singing. Sophia's singing back there. Okay. All right. So we don't see like a clear interaction between Joseph and God in this stage. So again, this is one of those that doesn't work super well, which is fine. What's the next one? Crossing the threshold. Okay. Crossing the threshold is when you are taken from your comfortable land or your comfortable place and you are about to go into some stuff.
Sold into slavery?
So when I would say, you could say pit, but what I would say on his way to Egypt. So going to Egypt, getting to Egypt, that would be crossing the threshold. All right. Yes, let's get it. What? Okay. I like that. That's nice. Okay. Next would be tests, allies, and enemies. And I think I'm going to go ahead and list this up on the board. So tests We've got, what is the first test that you can think of, or maybe the only test, but the big test that you see right when he gets to Egypt and he gets into Potiphar's house? He is tested by Potiphar's wife, right? When someone is tested, right, they're presented between an option of doing good or bad. And he chose good here, but he's tested. So this would bring me to enemies. Who would you say an enemy was? Great.
I don't have enemies.
Good English. I don't.
Okay, so this is all under the same one. Tests, I don't know why I put an apostrophe there. Tests, enemies, and then allies. Potiphar's wife, and eventually Potiphar was the one who actually got him thrown into jail. Think about the allies. Who got him eventually out of jail?
No,
Pharaoh, but it was the cupbearer, the guy who he was in the jail with. So I would say his ally would be cupbearer. Okay, so those are the ones that I would probably put there in that category. The approach and the ordeal. The approach for me would be jail. The approach would be jail because he is getting closer and closer to this position of where he can be in power with Pharaoh. Without getting into the jail, that would not have happened. He wouldn't have been able to reach Pharaoh, okay? Because he wouldn't have been able to show that he can interpret dreams. So likewise, the ordeal perhaps would be interpreting dreams while in jail. Now, these are all subjective a little bit, but since I'm telling you, these are what I expect you to write down as well. All right, what would the reward be? Well, he doesn't go home, though. I mean, home. I mean, it depends on what you look at home. Out of jail. Okay, reward would be getting out of jail, and then he becomes second in command to Pharaoh. Getting out of jail, second in command to Pharaoh. Kason, you got these written down? Do you need a pencil? I've got, behind Grayson, there are several pencils in a bucket, if Grayson wanted to help you with that. Oh, my goodness. Love, peace, patience, kindness, goodness. He didn't bring them? All right. Out of the shoes. Let's go to the road back. What in the world would the road back be?
The brothers going back home to other brothers.
I mean, that's literal. You could say that. I'm not going to pinpoint a technical road back, okay? So I'm going to leave that one blank. The resurrection would be, remember resurrection, we talked about being transformed into a different person. So now second in command. We could put that there. But he's also now the most important brother, okay? Second in command and most important brother. He is now taken on the position of the most important brother, whereas his position that he was born into would be the least important brother, okay? And then return with the elixir. This is not a literal return, but perhaps, remember, elixir is something that keeps people alive. What did he do for his family that kept them alive? Yes, he provided them with the food. Okay, so return with elixir would be he provided food not only for his family, but for the other Israelites, for people in Egypt. He kept this whole nation going. And if he hadn't have gone through this whole hero's journey, he would not have been able to. Okay, now we're going to talk about character archetypes. What is a character archetype? Okay, I promise you're going to know this. I want you to think about in your head. I don't know why Sophia is continuing to point her camera at me. Okay. Oh goodness. I'm sorry. I want you to think about groups in a typical high school. Don't think of this high school. Think of like Sweetwater High School. Okay, groups of friends, groups of people. Tell me some of the stereotypical groups that there are.
Football boys.
Okay, hold on, pause. Okay, we got football.
Basketball.
Okay, y'all are just naming sports now. Stop. You're just naming sports.
The gang.
Okay.
The gang.
So what?
The gang.
Okay, next.
The wild.
Emo. What else? Sports kids, emos. Nerds, what? Okay, like, well, yeah. I want to be popular.
That's why Grayson never gets along with anybody.
Okay, so let's rein it. Let's what do we say? Lock in. Lock in. So these are stereotypical groups, right? In literature, we don't necessarily talk about them as groups, but we assign them to people. So I want you to think about stereotypical people. If I put this word up here, Karens, would you know what I meant?
No.
Okay. So Karens, you know what that means. So that's like a stereotype of a person. And different people, do you have to be named Karen? No. But different people can fit that stereotype, right? So in literature, we call these, and I'm actually, let's see if I have notes for you. All right, go ahead and add this to the back of your notes. And you're going to write this word. It's called archetypes. Archetypes, okay? So character archetypes are these characters that show up over and over and over again in literature. I mean, not the literal characters, but character types. So these are very easy, okay? You're going to have the hero. And then what's the opposite of the hero? The villain. You're taking notes? Anywhere. Yeah, these are archetypes, character archetypes. Oh, we're getting there, actually. We're getting there. I think I spelled villain wrong, but that's okay. Sidekick. Sidekick. It's also on the board, but she doesn't have her glasses.
Yo, you wear glasses?
Not today, apparently. Okay, so then we have this sage. Sage. A sage is a
magical person.
Put Yoda, okay? So some person who doesn't really necessarily play a part in the plot of the story, but kind of pops in with this wisdom. Think Lion King. Do you all remember Rafiki, that monkey who comes along sometimes and will like tell a little wisdom, with the butt, the baboon butt? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that would be the sage. We also have, these might be all that I would like to do. No, let's do, I hate that this is a stereotype, but it is. Damsel in distress. Damsel in distress. And the word damsel just means woman. Okay, in distress. So some woman who needs saved, right? Okay. All right, let's do, I want you to think, how many evil, bad mom or stepmother characters can you think of? Go ahead and name them.
Medea.
Evil or bad mom or stepmother characters. Okay, Cinderella. Or what? Okay. Sure. Okay. So we're gonna put what about Snow White, the evil stepmother?
Come on, Jacob, you got
Okay.
something in your
So
mind.
we're gonna put evil bad mom. Okay, well the interesting thing is dads are usually either dead or good.
Whoa, what you say?
In stories, in stories we see I think Mufasa, right?
He's gas.
Think Cinderella. Think the Sultan in Aladdin, like he was so sweet and cute and like, okay? He didn't die. I said they're either good or dead. Good or dead. Okay. What about Okay, let's stop there. We're not no. With the archetypes. Okay. He's like, done. Okay. So what I want us to do right now is I want you to raise your hand if you've ever I'm gonna put some of these movies or stories and I'm gonna see who's heard of these and I'm gonna do something with it. Okay.
Thomas?
Aladdin, Jasmine. Okay, great, lovely. Next, Snow White. There we go. The apple.
Carter?
Yeah. The apple.
Okay, I spelled that wrong, guys. Yes, Percy Jackson, exactly. Okay, so raise your hand if you are very familiar with Star Wars. I'm gonna put you in groups based on this. Not me. Couldn't be me.
Not you. You don't like Star Wars?
I know some of them.
Very familiar. Okay. Yeah. All the rest. Yeah. Okay. Raise your hand if you're very familiar with Aladdin. Raise your hand if you're very familiar with Snow White. Raise your hand if you're very familiar with Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief.
There you go.
Okay, great. So, hey guys, you have for 30 minutes talked nonstop. So let's please, you're even filling in silence that just when I take a literal breath, you're starting to talk. So it's wearing me out a little bit. So Hector and how about let's say this. Is over here where Kaysen is. If you want to work on, what we're going to do is we're going to be identifying heroes, journey, and archetypes within these. But I want you to be in a group based on what you're familiar with, because if you don't know about them, you can't do that. So if you want to work on Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief, come over here. Okay, right here. You have to pick one. Okay, there. Aladdin is going to be over there where Chimera is. Snow White is going to be this. Like right over here. Let's say like actually where Hector and Carter is. Snow White. And then no. Aladdin. Have I done Aladdin? Aladdin back there around. Where's Aladdin? Star Wars. Back there. Okay. Go. Do it now. Get where you're gonna be. And then I'll tell you what to do. You have to get in a group. You have to get in a group.
What is this? So if you like anything else,
Percy Jackson's over here. Aladdin is Chimera. Chimera's Aladdin.
I went to Aladdin. I've never seen it.
This is Star Wars.
Oh, that's Star Wars. What's Star Wars?
No.
I know some.
Okay, well I'm changing my mind. This is make this Star Wars. Yeah, make the front row Star Wars. And then Cinderella in the back. Snow White in the back. Sorry.
Are y'all staying? I'm staying.
Hey, Kaysen and Hector, y'all were over here, right?
That's where I was sitting.
So you weren't doing Percy Jackson? You're doing Aladdin?
Yeah.
That don't work.
Hector's by himself.
Alright, Case, I remember that.
Hector, I've never seen Percy Jackson.
Hey, what we got? Dude, I did, dude. I got you. Trust.
Stop talking. Has anyone seen Percy Jackson that could be in Hector's group? Kaysen has. Kaysen, you're going to be in. You raised your hand earlier when I asked.
Why are you in our group?
So Kaysen, come over here. You and Hector are in a group.
No.
Okay. Have any of you in this group seen or familiar with Snow White?
No.
Oh, we're good.
Not one bit.
Oh, we're good.
Kamara, would you mind joining them in the back, even if you're not? I mean, Kiara, not Kamara, Kiara.
Oh, we're good.
I was
Oh.
about to say you're lying.
What you're doing now is you are going to try to list a part of the story for each one of the stages in the hero's journey for whatever book or movie you're working on. Okay? Everybody understand what we're doing?
Okay.
You are going through all of the stages of the hero's journey, thinking about Percy Jackson and seeing if you can identify within that what each stage of the hero's journey is. Okay?
What do we
It's
do after
open.
we're done?
You're going to sit there and smile. So it's okay to leave something blank if you need to. Okay? Go for it.
We can have like with Star Wars.
Y'all decide.
I don't.
Hey,
Sit down.